Alright, good morning. I think this particular video is worthwhile. I just finished another video, mine was 2 seconds ago. But it's worthwhile to make this one begili panim, with revealing my face, showing that I'm dressed in the garb of a Hasidic Jew, that I have a beard and payas, that I my position is serving in the rabbinate, serving in clergy. And then I'm Jewish, and I'm American. I love America very much. I wanted to discuss a little bit about something that happened yesterday that has gotten my attention, and the attention of thousands, if not millions of people. And that was the banning of Alex Jones Infowars from YouTube, Facebook, I believe Apple iTunes, and some other of these. Thank God he's still on Twitter. And of course, the messages of Alex Jones are still getting on Facebook and YouTube. It's just that the subscriber base with millions of people has been lost, and they have to start from the beginning. And again, there are private individuals who are copying the videos and putting them on YouTube privately and so forth, and live streaming and so forth. So it's not that his voice hasn't been silenced. It's just that there is an attack on Alex Jones now. I'm not particularly a fan of Alex Jones, but I'm also not someone who particularly hates Alex Jones. I'm more of a fan of Glenn Beck for sure, and Glenn Beck really doesn't like Alex Jones, but Glenn Beck is also upset at the attacks on Alex Jones, and that Alex Jones has been removed from YouTube. But yes, the truth is, we know that all of these companies or private companies, they have every right. I'm not saying they're doing something illegal. I'm not saying they're doing something unconstitutional by removing his content from their platforms. It's their choice as private businesses how they want to conduct themselves. But it's quite scary because we do see these kind of almost as utilities, these these social media platforms, but they aren't, and it's true they aren't. And I'm not saying that Congress or the Supreme Court has to act to restore these or anything, and it's their choice. If they don't want to listen, they want to listen to one group of people and not to another. It's very hard for me to imagine giving up YouTube. But if time, and here I am posting on YouTube, so I'm not even boycotting YouTube, and I'm certainly not suggesting a boycott of YouTube. I'm just very uncomfortable that this happens to be the best platform, and the fact that they've demonetized my videos and so forth, it kind of makes me uncomfortable and kind of is discouraging me from continuing on YouTube. But the fact is that the possibility that maybe someday I'll hit it big, and it'll be, it's cheaper than a lottery ticket. It's free. I mean, it's not free. I'm still paying for my phone, my internet, whatever. But I'm saying I'm paying for that stuff anyway. Might as well keep making videos. But what exactly has happened here? Why are there so many? I mean, I've had strikes against me for nonsense. There's so many worse people on YouTube and on Facebook. I mean, just a few weeks ago on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg was saying, he's not going to be, he doesn't want to ban Holocaust deniers from Facebook, and I don't want to ban Holocaust deniers either. I mean, this is another aspect of it. Don't we kind of want to know what's going on? Don't we kind of want to be able to study? If, let's say you absolutely hate Alex Jones, don't you want to be able to study him? Don't you want his information to be out there in the public so you can, read what he's all about, and or listen to what he has to say. I mean, there are plenty of left-wing groups like Media Watch or Media Matters or whatever. I don't know what they're called, but they keep an eye on the people that they don't like, right? And aren't you kind of isn't it somewhat self-defeating if you don't give these people a platform? People, and I'm not saying I think Alex Jones is that bad. I don't think he's that good. I don't think it, but I was a subscriber of his because I wanted to hear what he has to say, really. I mean, not just, I don't want to just listen to people I agree with. I want to hear every side of every issue and try to, have an answer of, what's going on here? What do different people have to say? Even what do crazy people have to say? And again, it's not a First Amendment issue in the legal sense, but in the colloquial sense, we could say that it's an attack on free speech in a certain sense. Yeah, not a legal attack on, and who's next? What's next? And how do you get your message out if you don't have access to these, Tyler on Secure Team, who's one of my favorite people on YouTube. He's one of the people that I just about watch every one of his videos. He talks mostly about UFOs and outer space anomalies and things like that. Again, I don't agree with everything he has to say, but I enjoy, he presents himself well. Is he going to be banned from YouTube next? Am I going to be banned from YouTube? I've had strikes against my videos for nonsense. And so too, I mean, how do you define, they're accusing Alex Jones of anti-Muslim rhetoric, anti-transgender rhetoric, things like that. How do you exactly define what this is? I was trying my best to listen to Glenn Beck. Unfortunately, his show is not available on any local channels, and I'm listening to a channel from Allentown or something, 100 miles away, that barely comes in. It's mostly static, but I'd rather listen to a staticky Glenn Beck than what's the guy, Brian Kilmeade or whatever. I'm not really that impressed by Brian Kilmeade, but I am very impressed by Glenn Beck. And whatever, it's a strange situation that we're dealing with here. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any videos recently from our friend the Kitty. What's her name? The girl from Canada who quoted me on her show. With the talking cat. I don't know. Did they take her channel down? Who even knows? It's really scary that, it's scary to me that I've invested so much into YouTube and I have not backed up my videos because I just don't have room, I don't have memory, to do that. And am I gonna lose all of my content which is something that happened to me on another platform some time ago. I had dozens, if not hundreds, of shiurim, good Torah shiurim, no politics. When I was a Rav in the shul, and I would record them, and I put them on this one like podcast channel that was taken down just because they went out of business, and they said, download your stuff now, and you have until a certain date, and like the bandwidth of the whole website was overtaken. This was years ago, and I lost all of that content, all of that work that I should have saved on CDs or something, but I just, and is this going to happen to me again? And if it does, it does. It's min hashamayim. I don't know, but like, it's not going to happen that YouTube's going to go away like this other channel. I don't remember what it was, this other website, but I don't know, eventually YouTube will disappear too. I mean, eventually, everything's going to disappear, but if that's what But, this is really scary stuff. I'm sure Alex Jones backed up all of his videos and stuff. But I feel bad for him. And in this case, and he says, the fact, it's really weird that all of this is happening at the same time, that there's this concerted effort. It kind of, in a way, vindicates him. Kind of proves that all the stuff he's been saying is true in a certain sense. Not everything, maybe, not 100% of everything he says, but a lot of the stuff he says, And I think a lot of these things are just up to your interpretation. I mean, just now Glenn Beck was talking about, some horrible cases about, gender identity, and like one of the first victims of gender identity, who was a boy who was a victim of a botched circumcision, and his parents, at the guidance of a particular psychologist, raised him as a girl, and what kind of hell he went through, and how he eventually killed himself, and like this feeding into this type of mental illness. I mean, again, personally, when I meet people who identify like this, I'm respectful to them, but I'm also respectful to other mentally ill people, and because it's not my job as I'm not a psychologist. I have a bachelor's in psychology, but I'm a clergy person, and I do encounter these people in my life every now and then at work, and whatever, and I treat them with respect like anybody else, and I'm not going to their face say, you're not really a woman, or you're not really a man, or whatever. Just like I'm not going to their face say to someone whose father is Jewish and mother is not, and they're Reform, and they had their bar mitzvah in the Reform temple, you're not really Jewish. I'm not going to say that to their face, because it's not nice, it's disrespectful, but it's true. As far, I mean, you still have a Y chromosome, even if no matter what, all of the hormone treatments and surgery in the world are not going to get rid of the Y chromosomes in your cells, and so too, at least the Jewish issue, that could actually be solved, if you want to go jump in the mikveh, and we can make you Jewish, but until then, you're not Jewish, but again, I'm not going to say that to someone, but I will, if you treat them differently, I'm going to, if someone, approaches me and says they want an interfaith marriage, one identifies as Jewish, the other is Christian, and or Buddhist or whatever, and the one who identifies as Jewish because their father is Jewish and their mother's not, I'll officiate at the wedding. It's not going to be Kedushin. I'm not going to say the brachas of Seder Kedushin. I could say a bracha Brei Pri Hagafen and break a glass, stand under a chuppah and read some kind of a paper and call it some kind of ketubah. That's not a bracha levatala, and it's not a Jewish wedding. It's a civil, secular wedding, or a non-denominational wedding, interfaith wedding. whatever it is, and say a few readings or whatever, and then say Mazel Tov and break a glass, But it's not, and I would not do that for someone who was born Jewish. I had someone the other day, they said, I always tell, I said, well, if your mom's not Jewish, I'll do the wedding. They didn't say which two faiths, they said interfaith marriages, so maybe they're Muslim and Christian, maybe they're Buddhist and Hindu. And they said, no, the bride, she says, oh, I'm 100% Jewish, but, on both sides, Ashkenazi Jewish. But, we're in our 60s. It's not like we're going to have any kids, so it doesn't really matter. I was like, yeah, I just can't do it. I'll be defrocked, even from a legal standpoint. It's not even a personal thing. It's just, it's by virtue even of the state law, because I would no longer be in communion with my, religious body that ordained me, and then legally the civil wedding wouldn't be chal, wouldn't. It's true. Same thing with any number of weddings that are against halacha, and I said, but technically, if you're older people, it's not that big of a deal as a man, if he wants to convert, I could do a quick conversion. And then, she said to me, I would never dream of asking him to convert, because his faith is as important to him as mine is to me. That's why I didn't say, again, personally, what am I thinking in my head? Oh yeah, your religion is really important to you if you're marrying out, I mean, and it's not a racist thing, because it's just, a question, there's many issues that are involved with all these issues, but and again, and I don't like to make all these arguments. I don't like to discourage people from intermarrying. I'm just not going to participate in it. The fact of the matter is, I think it's better, in a certain way, intermarriage is a blessing, because it cleans out the bad Jews from the Jewish community. It's sad, I mean, but, it's the same thing. I mean, people say, they're finishing Hitler's job, and when you see all the commies and everything that the secular Jews produced, it's a job that needs to be finished. We need to get rid of these Jews. I don't mean like killing them. They don't deserve to die necessarily. They certainly cannot be killed, but they should stop identifying as Jewish and just go. The world would be better off if all the secular atheist Jews would just go convert to Christianity. If they don't want to be Jewish and follow Judaism, and they want to redefine the religion of Judaism as something what it's not, as some kind of a racial or cultural or ethnic identity, which it isn't, we don't need them. In the old days, those people would change their names, and the world was better for it. And the thing is, it's really even better if they just, I think in a certain sense, it's better they convert to Christianity, because at least they're going to have the ethics and the morals from the Bible, which is our Bible. Their Old Testament is our Bible, which they're not getting in their secular, in their secular worldview. So it's tough, because it's something going on even in my own family right now this week. But I said a prayer, and a lot of people, but I know a lot of people are upset at me, but I really don't care. I'm just live your own life, do what you want. It is what it is. Country. And the same thing, you want to be a secular atheist Jew, I can't stop you, and to someone's, the thing about the internet is you're going to say things that you would never say to someone's face, right? I'm sure, if any of these people who, hates Alex Jones would meet him, face to face, I'm sure he's, a very polite person and stuff. You know, I mean, his defense in the courtroom was that he's a performer. You know, and I don't really like hate him. You know, even like I know people are upset like about stuff he said about Sandy Hook and stuff, and like, you know, yes, it's hurtful to say if someone claims that, yeah, these kids didn't really die, that's really hurtful. But false flag operations are not always fake. It doesn't mean that these people didn't actually die. What it means is that what caused it to happen? What's the underlying story behind this? You know, and that's really the question. And is there some agenda behind this? Did someone put this guy up to it, and we'll never know, just as like an excuse to try to take away guns? Because really, if you learn about what the Second Amendment is really about, it's not about self-defense on the individual level so much. Definitely not about hunting. It's not like that idiot Cuomo's like, nobody needs 11 bullets to shoot a deer. No, that's not what it's about. It's about protecting the people from the government to a certain extent. Yeah, the Whiskey Rebellion proves that it's not a free-for-all. There are laws, and there are duly proper laws. But a whiskey tax is not like a tyrannical thing, you know. But, you know, we do have a Second Amendment for the purpose of that the government should be scared of us to a certain extent. You know, that's what it's really there for, is that, you know, to maintain freedom. You know, and these attacks on freedom are scary. I mean, the fact that you know, for Facebook and YouTube to decide, that's one thing, but for a congressman to say this is the right thing to do, that's very problematic. For a senator to say that's the right thing to do is very problematic. The senator from Connecticut is really scary. That's much more of a problem that he is pushing for more of this as a senator from his Senate Twitter, not from his private Twitter. It has CT next to, you know, to say that he's the senator from Connecticut. But the thing is, the Senate is a really messed up body. It's really superfluous and ridiculous. Ever since the 17th Amendment, we really have to push to repeal the 17th Amendment. You know, it's and it's on both sides. You know, we wouldn't have a candidate like Judge Roy Moore if we didn't have the 17th Amendment. You know, all right, he lost, but like, so now we have another Democrat. You know, another vote to convict when if God forbid the Congress, you know, if the Democrats win the House, it'll be one more vote to convict. You know, if in the Senate, like, it's really scary, you know, how they've weaponized these things against a really great, fine president. You know, I mean, I was not excited about Donald Trump. I really only voted for him because Hillary Clinton was so awful. I would, if it was, you know, Bernie Sanders, I would have felt comfortable voting third party. But Hillary Clinton was so evil and corrupt that I would vote for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. You know, I would vote for anybody over. At least Bernie Sanders is honest, as opposed to, even though he really isn't, but like, as opposed to like Hillary Clinton, who's like trying to hide who she is. You know, but all this stuff being said, you know, we got to figure this out, what's going on. But anyway, about Donald Trump, I felt he was a little bit too liberal. I really wanted Ted Cruz you know, I agreed with Ted Cruz about the New York values, that, you know, Donald Trump isn't like the type of guy for like middle America, for Texas, or even for like upstate New York, really, you know, rural areas. But you know, he's a city guy, you know, but in the end, now that he has a record, I'm voting for him again. You know, he is great. He's really doing his job. You know, anything that anybody could complain about Donald Trump is all stuff that Obama did, Bush did, Clinton did, whatever. All the good stuff is like all pure Trump, you know. And I don't understand why people hate him so much. Like, they're just out of their minds. They just lost their minds, you know. So, whatever it is. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. And we will catch you all later. Thank you.